Are you looking for the latest combo cards, playlines, and outlets from the most recently released Magic the Gathering sets? Well, look no further. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and join me as we discuss our top 10 favorite combo cards from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Big thanks to Wizards for sponsoring this video. And if you're looking to pick up LCI, use my link provided down below. And in no particular order, we have Ghalta Stampede Tyrant. For 5 generic, triple green, 12/12 legendary creature, Elder Dino. When Ghalta Stampede Tyrant enters the battlefield, put any number of creatures from your hand onto the battlefield. Protean Hulk and Tide Pod decks have one big weakness: drawing your win con. Now you don't have to worry. Natural order into Ghalta to get Hulk into play. You could also Neoform Dargo into Ghalta to get a trapped Tidespout Tyrant into play. Ghalta doesn't open up new combos per se, but does smooth out pre-existing ones. Ghalta is not only great for placing trapped combo cards from your hand onto the battlefield, it's just good for placing general value creatures there as well. But are Protean Hulk piles not your thing? Well, let's take a return trip back to the lands of Eldraine. With Kellen, Daring Traveler. 2/3 body, legendary creature, human fairy scout. Adventure, journey on at sorcery speed. Create X map tokens, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who control an artifact. Probably all of them. Whenever Kellen Daring Traveler attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card with mana value 3 or less, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. As a commander, Kellen is an infinite mana outlet. Keep casting Journey On and put Kellen into the CZ instead of Exile. Once you have infinite maps, explore your deck away. Savine's Flashback your favorite combo, and win with either infinite mana or infinite counters from maps. Boros Kellen was great, but Selesnya Kellen might be better? Let me know which one you're playing in the comments below. I'm curious to find out, but post infinite mana, either is great. Now, Selesnya is always looking for new stacks commanders, and this new Kellen might be one of the better ones. Next we have Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel. For 1 generic and a blue, 2/1 legendary creature, Siren Pirate. Flash. Flying. Whenever Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel deals combat damage to a player, put a chorus counter on it. Draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 4 or more chorus counters on Malcolm, you may cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. Malcolm can easily ramp up to 4 counters with Proliferate, Double Strike, and extra turn spells. Once you hit 4 counters, you can win with any big spell, let's just say Enter the Infinite. With hand fixing and the ability to flash him in, you can keep up interaction. Malcolm may be a new combo commander and might even find a place in the 99 of some decks. Casting a free PETA or Hoarding Broodlord can just win you games. Casting any extra turn spell for free is a godsend in decks like Edric. Malcolm is pure value whether in the CZ or in the 99. WotC just doesn't know how to print a bad version of this pirate. Let us know how you're brewing for Malcolm in the comment section below. I'd personally love to find out. Next we have Motzolantli, the Great Door. For 3 generic legendary artifact, tap to draw a card, then discard a card. Pay 4 to tap and transform Motzolantli, the Great Door. Activate only if there are 4 or more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. It then flips over to the Core, legendary land. Tap, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Gaia's Cradle, generically good card, has a few infinite combos. Wakeroot Elemental and Sylvanas' Invoker being the primary 2. The Great Door lets you do the same thing a bit easier, and lets you cut out green. That means you can dust off that Palinchron and combo off again. All you need to do is fill up your graveyard a bit, which this card does, to get the ball rolling. Flipping to the Great Door, not a difficult task. Finding the right synergies, however, will be. Whether you're using this card purely for value or as a combo card in your deck, it will see play. Let us know how you'll be using this card in your decks. Next we have Roaming Throne. For 4 generic, 4/4 artifact creature golem. Ward 2. As Roaming Throne enters the battlefield, choose Dwarf, a creature type. Roaming Throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types. If a triggered ability of another creature you control of chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. Nothing makes Magda happier than another artifact dwarf. Well, except for an artifact dwarf that doubles treasure production. Roaming Throne allows Magda decks to take out Academy Manufacturer and still be able to make infinite mana. I love seeing new tech make its way into older commanders, and Roaming Throne is even good outside of being a Magda combo card. Let me know if you're using this in any of your lists, but speaking of old tech, there is a returning effect that is very cool. coming by way of Izzet. Saheeli, the Sun's Brilliance. For Izzet, 2/2, legendary creature, human artificer. Pay Izzet and tap to create a token that's a copy of another target creature or artifact you control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. An Izzet Kiki Jiki is still a Kiki. You just need to be a bit more creative. Use Intruder Alarm with any creature that makes mana. Dockside. Coercive Recruiter with a dork. Untapper or Manland. Combat Celebrant or Port Raiser with some dork. Untapper or Manland, Nimble Claw Adept with any permanent that can make 3 or more mana of any color. All of these at minimum will give you an infinitely large board of hasty creatures. Saheeli at 2 CMC and Izzet makes for an awesome clone commander, even outside her combo potential. Just copying artifacts or creatures, probably just Dockside Extortionist, will help secure so many games. Next up we have Skeleton Crew. For 3 generic and a black, 3/3, creature, skeleton, pirate. Each other creature you control that's a skeleton or pirate gets +1/+1. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. 4 or 5 generic and a black, return Skeleton Crew from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped. Yawgmoth has a plethora of combos. Any mix of Undying Creature and Token Generator or another Undying Creature will get you the win. Skeleton Crew may be a new Yawgmoth staple. Not only will it make you a skeleton when your Undying Creature returns, but it's also self-reanimating. That means that Entomb and Unmarked Grave are now direct tutors. Now, Skeleton Crew is costly, I definitely hear you, but has some great effects tacked onto a creature, which we're trying to cheat out anyways. The fact that it's self-reanimating is just icing on top, but I think this is a worthy consideration for those mono-black Yawg-Dog builds, but you let me know. Next up we have Sunshot Militia. For generic and a red, 1/3, creature, human, soldier. Tap 2 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control. Sunshot Militia deals 1 damage to each opponent. Activate only as a sorcery. Now the other amazing OG Malcolm has had a strange combo where you make Reckless Fireweaver into a pirate to make treasures off of Malcolm that cause damage, making an infinite damage loop. Sunshot Militia does the same exact thing. Make it a pirate and tap 2 treasures to deal some damage and get 3 treasures, providing your opponents with infinite damage. That little bit of redundancy allows Malcolm players to play into this combo a bit more. What's nice about this line of play is that, post-pirating, you can use Malcolm and Militia as your tapped creatures to start up the combo. It is a little mana intensive to get there, mind you, but you are making treasures as part of your general strategy, so I don't think it should be too much of an issue. Next up, we have the Ancient One. For Dimir, 8/8, legendary creature, spirit god. Descend 8. The Ancient One can't attack or block unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. It makes sense. For 2 generic and Dimir, draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana value. It stopped making sense! Post infinite mana, the Ancient One can end the game in a few ways. You can mill your opponents equal to the CMC of your deck, or alongside any shuffle effects, let's just say a Shuffle Titan, you can mill infinite cards instead, which is overkill, I get that. Or if you just want to win by self-mill, you can nix the Shuffle Titans here and mill yourself until you have the prerequisite to win with Thassa's Oracle casted. This is all without mentioning that the default strategy here could simply be smacking your opponents with an 8/8. You never know how the board state's gonna get, so that's always a plan B. Getting to Descend 8 might be difficult, but if you build your deck right, I don't think it will be. Lastly, we have the Skullspore Nexus. For 6 generic and double green, legendary artifact. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures you control die, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness each equal to the total power of those creatures? Pay 2, tap, double target creature's power until end of turn? What? Marwyn and Sylvala have become staple green storm commanders, but sometimes have a bit of trouble hitting critical mass. The Skullspore Nexus helps fix that in a huge way by giving a cheap and reusable power doubler to help speed up your deck. If your big Sylvala creature dies, you'll get a token that will be a functional replacement. This card is absurd. I love Sylvala. I believe the first video on this channel is a Sylvala primer, as a matter of fact, and that was years ago. It could definitely use a few upgrades, and the Skullspore Nexus is one of those upgrades. This card is ridiculous. Imagine using Greater Good on the same creature twice, but then the second time around, doubling that creature's power. Not to mention the fact that you're ETBing in a new creature that was likely the largest thing on the battlefield, so Sylvala's gonna get another draw there? Oh my, it's just blowing my mind. Marwyn, of course, you can use it too, but we're really here for Zavala, okay? So let's be honest, or at least I am. But what were your favorite cards from this set? Is the Skullspore Nexus on your list? Let us know your favorite playlines, combos, and outlets to release from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I, again, am Patrick Marlette, your local game guy, and for more coverage on your favorite TCGs, subscribe to LGG. And before we close this one out, again, I would like to give a special thanks to Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to send it along to the next gamer with a like. Thank you.